Okay, ever since Windows 8 launched, the big controversy has been the start screen versus the start menu. So we're going to go ahead and look at that, and we're going to forget the reasons why and everything, and just look at feature for feature how the start screen really does just implement the same things that are in your start menu, but bigger and better. So with that, let's get started. So here we are at Windows 7. We're going to click on the Start button, and then we're going to see there's the Start menu. To find a program to pin, we're going to go ahead and type in a program in the search here. I'll just use Windows Media Player, for example. We're going to here grab it, and we'll drag it. Now I can put it on the desktop and create a shortcut there, or I can come back down to the Start button and have it display the Start menu, drop it on there, and boom, there it is, ready to go. Let go of it wherever you want to put it or anywhere, and it'll do it. Now this menu has a place for about 30 items. That's including your favorites up here and the recent ones down below. So that's what you're restricted to. Even if you use other icons and everything, smaller icons, that's about your limit. So once you have an item listed on your menu, you can move it between your recent and your favorites. You know, Windows Media Player, we can move it somewhere else. But let's take one of the favorites. Let's take the calculator. And there's your Windows calculator. It just does calculation stuff. I've used it frequently enough to where it's on the list. I move it up to my favorites. It's up there. It shrinks the number of items on the recent list, at least the area for it. It still operates the same. And if we decide we don't want it up there to use, then we simply come up here and right click on it and say remove. And once I go back and refresh my list, it's back there in the recent. So that's how it operates in Windows 7. So here we are in Windows 8 at the same resolution, 1920 by 1080. And you see we have 6 rows down. If you have a lower resolution screen, you may have only 5, but that also is adjustable in Windows 8.1. But you have 18 columns going across if you use the regular square size icons. So that gives you an ability of 78 favorites, because what tiles are actually your favorites. So you have 78, that's over 2.5 times of what's available in the Windows 7 Start menu. So just by that sheer number alone, you have more space here on the Windows 8 Start screen than on the Windows 7 Start menu. Well, you may be asking then what happened to the recent programs? All this list here that allows you to have the ones you used recently, not necessarily pinned to your favorites. Windows 8 doesn't have the capability of that. Well, actually, let's take a look. Well, here in Windows 8 to access your recent, you just click on that little button on the bottom and you go to the all app screen, and you can be sorted by whatever you want, by alphabetical or whatever, by group by name. But you can also do group by most used. So you have this entire screen. Even the stuff you very rarely use will be over there, but the most used will be there right there in front. And the list is unbelievably large. So you've gotten more recent, again, a larger capacity between the two programs. So again, here Windows 8 clearly wins out. Now, we already covered a little bit about how to add to your start menu by showing you earlier how to drag and drop. So we've already really covered that, but this is not about the size of the menu, but how you do it. You have to do a search for a program, find it in your list, then take it back to your start menu and drop it there to put it on there. You can also find it in the all programs, but that's how you do it in Windows 7. So here in Windows 8, you just start typing the name of what you're searching for, and it'll automatically come up. I'm using the snipping tool, so once it comes up, you right click on it, say pin to start, or to the taskbar as well, or some other functions, but mainly you just say pin to start. Then you go back to your start screen, scroll all the way to the right, because that's where it'll be at. It doesn't put it anywhere special for you. You drag it just like you did in the start menu. You put it where you want it in the order, and you let it go, and you're done. You've now pinned a new tile to your start screen. So because Windows 8, all you do is start typing. You don't have to click on the start menu first as you do in Windows 7, but you're on the start screen. You just start typing and you get search comes up automatically. Windows 8 has a slight edge and provides the exact same functionality. Now in Windows 7, you only have one icon size, small or large, and that's not even on your desktop. Your desktop, it is what it is. You just have to rely upon a difference. On the start menu, you can have small and large. But again, they all change or they all stay the same. You can't have best of both worlds. So let's take a look at Windows 8. So why are tile sizes important? Well, because they draw attention to your most important programs. So you can have more programs on it, or you can draw attention to ones that are important to you, that you use every day, maybe Facebook or Skype or something like that. So how do you do that? Well, it's done in 8.1, the same as 8.0, but you have a couple different sizes. If you click here, there's 4 sizes now instead of 2. This is a double high, double wide from the standard. It gives a nice square. So if you want to see something every day, like your calendar and all that, you can easily find it based not only on the colors of the icon and in the icon contents, but exactly the size of it. And that allows it to be found much easier in your everyday work. So again, Windows 8 Start Screen provides additional functionality that doesn't exist in Windows 7. The larger tiles and relative to each other can help you find the program you're searching for. Now, in Windows 7, we wanted to have more than just the icons on our screen. We wanted to have information that was, well, live. So Microsoft created something called gadgets. And people could develop gadgets for here being the gadget libraries. I wanted to have a clock display. So I click on the clock display and I say, oh, I want to know what the clock is. So I don't have to go find it. I don't have to look at the corner or do anything there. I can just have something that tells me that. Temperature was another one. I could go in there and I could set the temperature. Let's close that and let's go over to gear and select temperature. And you could, again, put your zip code or whatever in. It would find it and tell you what your temperature is outside at that particular moment. Again, something live. Well, unfortunately, gadgets didn't catch on that much. Developers were restricted by Microsoft a little bit, but it also was that they were protecting you. But so much so that gadgets have been discontinued for a while now. And now they're telling you about how to do apps, and they're more secure. So instead of having all these people develop apps through the Windows Store, which are more secure. So if we go and search on the internet, you can find different applications that are built for Windows 7. You can have some more tile or gadgets and everything that give you live information, but it doesn't mean that you should go out there and get all these. It just means it was time for a new technology. So what did Microsoft come up with? Basically gadgets on steroids. Now we now have live tiles, which are applications delivered through the Windows Store, like I said, which will display live information all independently of other, and much more information. You can get financial headlines here, anything that interests you about the current stock market. You have things like the weather, just like you saw on the other one, but a more robust. You can change the size to see more information. Sports, travel, you name it. There's hundreds of applications out there to deliver live information to your Windows Start screen. And what's really nice about these is that you can go to every application and go over to the settings in there and change exactly what's, like for example, if you're on sports, you could have certain sports teams show up. All sorts of different things to control how your particular tile is being delivered, what information is being delivered through your tile. So you see the interesting stuff that makes you click on it and get more detail. So again, clear when you hear gadgets, Windows 7 were a great idea, but Windows 8 with live tiles is much better, much more robust technology. So Windows 7, there is a notification technology built in. It's down here in your taskbar. It has ability to let you know that certain things are happening, like you need a new virus checking going on, or different kind of things. Safely remove your USB drive. Those kind of little system notifications. You can go in here and configure it underneath the Start menu button. And you can go in here to your configuration and say, oh, here's what I want to do. So I would simply go into here and say, oh, this is what I want this one to notify me, or this one never to notify me, and do those kind of configurations. So, and then once in a while you'd have also other types of notifications besides these that would actually be called toast notifications. And that's when you install or you insert a DVDs, let's say, and it pops up and lets you know that you can do something with it. But they're all this, basic functionality, not too great, not too bad, but just mundane. So what's different in Windows 8 versus Windows 7? Well, you can get notifications both in your start screen and your desktop, so it doesn't matter where you're at, you'll still get those notifications because the system will interrupt whatever you're doing and throw that notification out there. But you have much more control over much more things. For example, if you want to go out there and see the notification up here in the upper right hand corner, you can go to each one of the applications and you'll get something that looks a little bit like this. And up in the upper right hand you'll see that. Now that's similar to what you get sometimes in Windows 8 when it pops up right in the middle of the screen, but you see it persists across both desktop and the Start menu. The Start menu, you can just look at it, decide if you want to click on it and go do that action or let it expire. But you can also go into each one of your applications that configures for it, and you can set up your how if you want to see notifications from that particular app or not. So you can have more or less depending upon however your options are. It's not under options, by the way, it's under permissions. So you look for every application and say, oh, look for notifications and turn them on and off as you see fit. Well, one more thing, you can sit there and you can configure your mail application to say, hey, I want to see mail notifications or not. You simply go into the mail application, you go right over here to the settings, permissions, and there it is, notifications right there. Turn it on or off as you desire. So again, a clear winner, Windows 8 Toast versus Windows 7 notifications. Much more robust, much more information, and completely controlled by you. Now we've all used the control panel. It's over here on the right hand side of your menu, but there's other administration tools that some of us more techie people like to get a hold of, and they're available here, but you have to turn them on first. So you have to go to the start button, you click on properties, and come down here and find administration tools and find them here in the list. Say, okay, I can show them different ways, but I want to show them in the menu so that they're available to me. I say okay and say okay again and come back, and sure enough, there they are. If I hover over that, you'll see all these different things that I can do, like power management, go to different parts of control panel directly, or different other things that you might want to take a look at, some error messages in Windows. But you have to add it to your menu first. Now in Windows 8.1, with the addition of the Windows key down at the bottom where the Windows Start button was, you have those available to you. All you do is right click and they're immediately available to you, and you can do different things here. Many of the similar or exact same functions that you saw me add to the Windows 7. So as far as administration tools, they're actually one click quicker to get to them and everything. Very nice feature. It takes away one step in having to configure your system, and it lets you get to them right away. So shutting down, as you know, in Windows 7, you click once there, and if you configured it, the button says shut down, or you click over here and you can choose one of the other functions. You can also go and set that in Windows 8 by sitting there and saying, oh, I want the default action to be one of those. And if you change it to something else like restart or something like that, then you click here and it changes it there. So that's how it works in Windows 7. So let's see the big difference in Windows 8. So in Windows 8.1, they've added the shutdown over here on the left. Besides, it still exists on the right. But in 8.1, you have one click there, and then you can choose which one. Either the same amount or one less click in Windows 8 than in Windows 7. Very easy. Choose an option other than the default. There is no default anymore. You can just choose which one you want to do. So it works basically the same. It should help those people who didn't want to switch over. So Windows had touch interface back since 2005. I had a Fujitsu stylistic tablet that ran Windows Tablet Edition 2005 it was named, and it had touch enabled, and you could do all that stuff. I also had this monitor I bought to test touch applications, and you can do stuff in Windows 7. You can touch things, scroll up and down, and do all those kinds of things that you would normally do in a touch system. But it's very tiny. It's very hard to manage. You can do things like start regular applications as well, but it's really difficult to use. It's much more detailed use, and my fingers are too big. So it doesn't really work well. So Microsoft had no choice that now that the touch revolution has finally taken off, to change their interface to accommodate all those different devices, and to change the operating system the way it works, but still give people best of both worlds. I mean, I can still go ahead and launch Word and everything. I can sit there and bring up the touch keyboard and all that and do this. And if I was on a tablet, I could do all that. But it's just not well designed for it. It's okay in older days, but it doesn't really work that well. So let's take a look at what Windows 8 can do. So here we are in Windows 8 and everything, and we can see right away that because of the size of the tile and the way it works, it's a lot easier on the same monitor, same old monitor and everything, that it works fine. You can sit there and still do the same things on the desktop. You can open up file managers, you can do all those kinds of things. Uh, it's still not the greatest interface for touch, but you can use the mouse for all these controls and everything. The keyboard has been improved where it's more touch oriented and everything, just like you see on laptops and on Windows 8 tablets. As far as the interface for the Win8 apps and everything, you can see they're much more enhanced, bigger, made for touch. The whole thing about being able to tap on an application now and just browse through it and everything, and seeing different things that are going on with it and everything are so much easier to do. So you can close an application like this with a mouse and closing it down like that, or besides using your hand. So it actually works with either interface, either with a touch type of stuff. You can move around with a mouse like that, or I can do it by just using my fingers and dragging and dropping stuff and everything. So what they've done is they've very cleanly made an interface that will work for both types. If you don't have a touch system and everything, you can still use your mouse to get around. You still get all the other advantages of large scale application tiles that talk to you and everything, tell you things, but you still get the convenience of touch when you need to have that. Speaking of both worlds, you can also use your hands to swipe across and to switch between your desktop and all that, but you can also use the keystrokes that you're used to as well. Okay, you can flip like that to change into a desktop, or you can use the old stuff. You can sit there and go, okay, Alt Tab to do stuff. You can bring up from swiping from the side. You can bring up the menu. You can do that with your mouse or your hand. But you can go back. You don't have the aerial interface, but which was just really a stylistic switching program. But you notice I can sit there and under running program, switch back and forth with my Alt Tab, do all the same things. As a matter of fact, the one I use more than aerial interface to do it. Maybe not as cool. You can sit there and bring up a whole bunch of different programs, split the screen with them, of course, but we're just going to hide it for now. Bring up another program and hide that one for now. And then you can see our switching program over there. But again, don't need to use it. Alt Tab works like a champ, just like it did in Windows 7. That doesn't change. You flick between there. You not only do you flick between the items running on your desktop, but you also do that between the Windows 8 apps. For example, I'm going to open up Notepad here. Now I have two desktop applications. So when I use the Alt Tab, I get to go ahead and switch between each one of those and the desktop itself and the running applications. So you have ultimate control over what you're going to switch to and everything, just like you used to. So there you have it. The final item that I'm going to compare today, and that's of the 10 items, is touch. And Windows 8 obviously it very easily wins that race and everything. You can switch between your stuff easily by using touch. You can launch applications using touch. You can use this no matter if you have a desktop, a laptop, or a tablet. So let's review now what the features are of Windows 8 Start Screen versus those of the Start menu. So if we check the list here, we see on Windows 7 favorites, we only have 30 shared slots. You can get a few more if you use smaller icons, even more difficult to see, but they share it with the recent items. In Windows 8, you have 78 if you just use the square tiles, all the way up to unlimited if you just scroll to the right. Again, recent items, you have a whole other page where you can sort by recent, and it's unlimited. Adding favorites, it's the usual drag and drop situation with Windows 7. Tiles are easy to find. You just type in it, you can find it, right click, say pin to start, and then you go over to the start screen and then put it where you want. Windows 7, you only have one size icons on everything. Desktop, start menu, you don't have a way to put your more important programs larger, easier to see. Windows 8, variable tile sizes, it makes it a lot easier. Windows 7's gadgets are actually obsolete. Windows 8 has live tiles that actually deliver information to you just like gadgets, but it's on steroids. Plus it's controlled by you, plus it's more secure. Windows 7 notifications. There are a few notifications there, but Windows 8 enhances them with adding toast notifications, which again you can configure to get just the ones you want to get besides the regular system ones. Admin tools are accessible in Windows 7. They have to be configured to show up, but easier access to them in Windows 8. To shut down and restart the Windows 8.1, improve the access to that functionality and actually reduce the number of clicks by one. And of course, touch, way better touch, completely integrated in Windows 8, far better than the limited touch in Windows 7. So there's my take on Windows 7 versus Windows 8. I believe the Windows 8 start interface, start screen interface is much better than the old menu, and it adds some enhancements, ease of use, and of course the integrated touch that works across any kind of device that you're going to have a touch screen on. So I recommend if you take a second look at the start screen and try and learn it, make it your own, and you'll find that you're just flying through it just like you were with Windows 7. And don't forget to subscribe to Old Guy Geek. We have over 100 Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8 videos, and we're publishing more all the time.